Oh, I tell you what, putting the shopping away, least favourite job ever. I touched on this last night in my evening video. You have to undo so much before you can do it. You have to empty the fridge because nobody else can read a sell-by date. And somebody has put a pack of 4 chicken fillet things. There's one left. It went out of date last week, but it's still in the back of my fridge. Why? Why? Everyone in here, well, nearly everyone is an adult. It's a no. Anyway, that's not why we're here. Little rant. Don't start me on supermarket car parks. That's an entire video by itself. But the car. So an update on the car. First of all, yes, Jeff Buys Cars and I are in touch. We will make a video. I can't wait. I'm actually really excited. I love his. I feel as though, you know, there'll be quite a lot of chat. We're both quite prolific talkers. So we'll definitely get to the bottom of it, but it could be like an hour and a half long. So Jeff Buys Cars and I are doing a video on my Land Rover debacle, the update on my Land Rover debacle. So I told you I'd found the only decent person at Marshalls Land Rover. And I'm not naming him because I don't feel it's fair. So he contacted me a while ago and he'd instigated an independent report by Scotia on my Discovery Sport. So he sent that 2 weeks ago. I had that. And it shows things. I mean, there are some questions on there for me, but at least he'd done it. At least he'd done the independent report. It is, however, a year too late because last April when we were going over this and I was saying it's not structurally sound, I've got issues with it, I've got no information. This was not forthcoming. Well, they didn't do it. So we didn't have a structural report until 2 weeks ago. And now I get a phone call from said nice person saying he's having pressure to get my car off Marshall's site, which I get. You know, it's been there for 18 months. I think you can understand why they don't want it anymore. I can understand why they don't want it anymore. But that's not my problem. That's their problem. And the reason it's their problem is because I've rejected the car. And yes, I have spoken to Ian from Reject My Car. I mean, I've got all the bigwigs on this. We're going forth now with an army. All of your comments are invaluable. And I feel like you're all with me now on this. We're taking this journey together. Please keep liking, subscribing and sharing. This reaches far. I mean, I had no idea. I've got people in Australia, in America, in New Zealand, in South Africa. Hello, everyone. So I get this phone call, you need it back. And I'm like, I don't want it back. I can understand why you're saying that. I need to take legal advice on that. I've rejected it, and I think to have it back is sort of unrejecting it. I can't drive it, can I? I'm not going to do anything with it. It's going to sit on my drive gathering dust instead of sitting on your forecourt gathering dust. So I do take advice, and the advice is don't have it back. You've rejected it. The process is happening. It's with the Ombudsman. It is lengthy. We know it's lengthy, but the Ombudsman did say 10 days ago it should be done in 4 weeks. Whether it is or whether it isn't, I have no control over that. But we've all agreed to follow the process. So I then say this, I'm not having it back. And the email response is, well, you've talked on your social media about how your mobility is stymied because you don't have a working car. And I'm like, yeah, I have for 18 months. Why are we listening now? Why have we suddenly decided to reach out and frame this as though it's in my best interest to have my car that I've rejected back to help me with the fact that the one I've got is not reliable at best? And yes, I did say we had to cancel our holiday to Cornwall. We cannot drive to Cornwall in an unreliable car that keeps going into restricted performance. I absolutely did say that. I absolutely did say that I effectively see what warning lights come on the car in the morning and plan my day that wise. Yeah, I did. I did say it's really stressful towing horses in a car that goes into restricted performance. I did say that I'm having to change my entire family's day-to-day life to cater for said car, which is unreliable. I did say it had cost me loads of money. I did say I should never have had to buy it. I did say the only reason I bought it was because my car was stuck at Marshalls Land Rover in the middle of a dispute about whether they had or hadn't fixed it, were or weren't liable for it falling off the rollers, what had or happened to it, and whether we could or couldn't agree an outcome. So yeah, all of this is factually correct, but Marshalls Land Rover has now decided that they want to look like the good guys and say, oh, well, we care about, the fact that you aren't mobile. I think the person that's contacting me genuinely does care. I think they genuinely do give a monkeys about what's happening to my family. But unfortunately, they've only been with Marshalls for the past couple of months, so they have not had the lead up, the 18 months up to this, where no one gave a shit. They couldn't care less. When I was begging for a loan car, when I was begging for resolution on my car, when I was begging for information, when I was begging for an independent assessment, when I was going through all the motions of, will you please help me? Nobody cared. No one was interested then. And it was just batting it back to me. Well, you need to prove, Anna, that your car didn't have these problems when it came in. Well, I don't, because you've done that with your 150 checks. So we've ticked that one off the list. All this has ever been about is Marshalls turning this into my fault and proving, me having to prove that it's theirs, or me having to prove that my car didn't have the issues when it went in. Well, it hadn't fallen off the rollers. It didn't have the steering rack issue. Well, it did have the steering rack issue. But that, again, is a recall thing. So I'm appalled at this. I'm not necessarily appalled at said individual because, as I've said, you know, grace and favour and all of that. But Marshalls are clearly putting pressure on him and he's having to deliver the news. I get that. We all get that. And it's gone down like a shit sandwich. I'm not having the car back. So I've had to send 2 more fairly robust emails, which is never nice. It takes time out of the day. I've got 1,000,001 other things I need to do, like unload the shopping and sort the fridge out. I don't really want to be spending my day doing legalities with Marshalls over a car that we've already ascertained is in the ombudsman process, and that is taking however long it's taking. It didn't need to take this long. It never needed to get this far. This never needed to be the outcome, but it was because Marshalls would not come to the table. So this is where we find ourselves. They're trying to portray themselves as the good guys and they care about my mobility. And, you know, I've spoken about this on social media. And will continue to do so because, as I've said all along, Marshalls need to read the comments. You put your comments in under here and let's see if they read them. Let's see what they think to your take on this. Let's see what they think to your experiences with Marshalls. Let's see what they take to your experiences with Land Rover, because this isn't just me. This is my case for sure, and Marshalls will deal with me individually. But let's see what Marshalls, the group, think about how they treat customers when they read the actual feedback. There are a few, Duxford, that are good. But in the main, it's an absolute crock of the proverbial. So I'm really grateful to Jeff Buys Cars, and I can't wait to go and do my video with him. My podcast yesterday was brilliant fun. I'm loving all of this. More podcasts, more videos, more collabs. Sound like Amanda Land. And yes, Ian from Reject My Car, that's going on as well. There's lots of things going on in the background that I don't necessarily always talk about, but know that I am fighting this and I will continue to fight this. And when I get an email saying, you know, we want to help you, 18 months after I needed their help, doesn't sit so well with me.